St. Mercy Hospital had been standing for over a century. Its walls were cracked, the paint peeling away like old skin, and the flickering fluorescent lights in the corridors had a rhythm all their own. Most nights, the hospital felt alive, but not in a comforting way. Something lingered in the hallways, a presence the staff refused to talk about, at least not openly. I was new to the night shift. My name is Dr. Ossen, and I'd just been assigned to Ward 7, the old wing that everyone whispered about, but no one officially acknowledged. Remember, the head nurse, Fatima, told me, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial low. Ward 7, just keep your distance after midnight, no matter what. I tried to sound confident, maybe a little arrogant, as I replied, I don't believe in ghost stories. Fatima's eyes just narrowed. You'll believe soon enough, she said, and the certainty in her voice sent a small, unwelcome shiver down my spine. The first hour of my shift passed quietly. The usual symphony of hospital sounds, steady beeping of monitors, the low hum of the air conditioning. The distant wail of an ambulance filled the halls. I went about my duties, checking patient charts, making sure vitals were stable. Everything was routine. But Ward 7, it felt different. The air was colder, thick with a strange stillness. The lights flickered more erratically here, and a faint smell hung in the air. A mix of antiseptic and something metallic, not quite blood, but close enough to be unsettling. Curiosity got the better of me. I stepped into the ward. It was completely empty. All the beds were neatly made, covered with sterile white sheets. Everything appeared normal until I noticed the clock on the far wall. It was stopped, frozen at exactly 12 o'clock. I shrugged it off. Old hospital, old clock, simple malfunction. But then came the first whisper. Help me. I froze. There was no one there. The hall behind me was empty. Hello, I called out, my voice cracking slightly. A shadow moved at the far end of the corridor, slow, deliberate. Was it another nurse? A patient wandering where they shouldn't be. But just as I focused on it, the figure seemed to dissolve, melting into a strange, fog-like haze that had started to form inside the ward itself. My heart began to pound in my chest. I took a hesitant step forward. Is someone there? I asked again. No reply, only the soft distinct creak of a floorboard right behind me. I spun around. But I was completely alone. I was certain no one had followed me, and by 1 a.m., things started to escalate. The quiet was shattered as machines began turning on by themselves. The heart monitor by bed 3 suddenly beeped erratically, a frantic, panicked rhythm, before falling completely silent. The 4-drip bag hanging over bed 5 started swinging violently, as if grabbed and shaken by an invisible hand. I reached for the intercom to call the main nurse's station, but the line just crackled with static. And then I heard it, a sound that had no place in a hospital ward, empty or not, the faint, echoing laughter of a child. No, this isn't happening, I muttered to myself, my hand gripping my stethoscope so tightly my knuckles turned white, as if it were some kind of protective talisman. Suddenly, one of the beds across the room moved, not just a little jostle. It slid out from the wall on its own. The white sheet covering it slithered to the floor, and a figure emerged from the mattress, a patient, ghostly pale, their eyes hollow and dark, just standing there, silently. I blinked, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Mr. Sir, are you awake? The figure didn't answer. It just tilted its head at an unnatural, impossibly angle, staring directly at me. Then, just like the shadow in the hall, it dissolved into mist, drifting slowly toward the ward door. I had to get out. I ran for the door, but it slammed shut with a deafening bang just before I could reach it. The lights overhead flickered violently, plunging the room into strobing flashes of light and darkness. In one of those brief, terrifying moments of blackness, I saw them. Dozens of shadowy figures lining the walls. Patients who were never admitted, nurses who didn't exist, phantoms from decades past. All of them staring, all of them silent, all of them waiting. I threw my weight against the door, pushing, but it was like trying to move a solid wall of concrete. The intercom crackled to life again, a distorted voice, layered and echoing, whispered from the speaker. You shouldn't be here, but the sound wasn't just coming from the intercom. It was all around me, in my head, coming from every direction. The temperature in the room plummeted. My breath became a visible cloud in front of my face. The ward, I realized with dawning horror, wasn't just haunted. It was alive, and it was feeding on my fear. From the far corner of the room, another figure appeared, a ghostly nurse, tall and unnaturally thin, with a distorted, grotesque smile plastered on her face. She was holding a tray of old surgical tools that seemed to glimmer with a malevolent, otherworldly light. Her voice, a chorus of 100 whispers, echoed through the ward. Time is up. I stumbled backward, tripping over my own feet. I'm leaving. The corridor behind me seemed to stretch, twisting and elongating into an impossible labyrinth. Every turn I took revealed more faces in the walls, patients with empty eyes, nurses with elongated shadows, all staring, all silent, all waiting for me. I finally found a stairwell and scrambled down the steps, my feet pounding against the concrete, not stopping until I burst out onto the ground floor. The main hospital was bright, the lights steady, with staff bustling about their nightly duties. Relief surged through me like a drug. It was over. But then I saw it, the large clock on the main reception wall. It read 12 a.m., the exact same time as the clock in Ward 7. I ran for the main exit, but the hospital itself seemed to turn against me. The hallways shifted and changed behind me. Elevator doors opened to reveal nothing but empty, black voids. Doors that should have led outside now opened onto solid brick walls. I heard footsteps following me, soft at first, then faster, closer. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I screamed into the empty air, and a voice calm and final replied from right behind me. You never leave, not tonight. I stumbled into the old, deserted reception desk, sending papers flying. The computers sparked and died. The faint laughter of children echoed again, seeming to come from deep within the hospital's very bones. And then I saw him, a patient in a wheelchair, ancient and gaunt, staring straight at me. He leaned forward and whispered, his voice like dry leaves skittering across pavement. You joined us. Before I could even process his words, the lights went out completely. Total silence. Then, a faint red glow began to emanate from down the hall. The doors to Ward 7 swung open slowly, silently. Shadows, long and sharp, reached out for me. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The last thing I saw was the ghostly nurse's terrifying smile, her surgical tray held ready, and hundreds of unseen eyes, all staring, welcoming me home. Morning came. The day shift staff arrived, coughing and ready to start their day. Ward 7 was quiet, empty, clean, perfectly normal. No one saw me, Dr. Olsen. The head nurse, Fatima, just glanced at the empty duty roster and shook her head. Another one, she murmured to herself. The ward chose him. The security cameras from that night only showed a flickering, shadowy figure walking through corridors that didn't exist on any floor plan. It wasn't human. Weeks later, St. Mercy kept operating. Ward 7 even admitted patients during the day. But every single night, at the stroke of midnight, something shifted. The empty ward filled with whispers and laughter, and shadows moved on their own. No one ever entered Ward 7 after midnight anymore. Some say you can still feel my presence in the hospital, that I still walk the corridors, unseen, a new figure among the haunted souls, forever a part of the ward, silently waiting to guide the next visitor. Thank you for listening to this terrifying tale. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from the shadows. Stay safe out there.